Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum CS Pro users. Tutorials on list statement and dynamic value set. In my first tutorial, I covered the list statement. If you have not seen the first tutorial, you can find the link to it in the description box. In this tutorial, we will see how to use the dynamic value set to display the value set. To create a dynamic value set, we will use array statement, when statement, do statement, and set value set function. As in the previous tutorial, before going through the syntax, I will enter the data first and go through the syntax. In this part, I am using a dynamic value set for spouse, parents, and guardian information. We will enter the data based on the printed roster. The first question is, what is the name of Aslam Khan's wife from the given list? Aslam's wife's name is Sultana Bibi, so we will select code to Sultana Bibi. This question is about Aslam's father. What is the name of Aslam Khan's father from the given list? The answer is 88, father not alive in the printed roster. So we will select option 88, father not alive. This question is about Aslam's mother. What is the name of Aslam Khan's mother from the given list? The answer is 6, Sakina Bibi. So we will select option 6, Sakina Bibi. The remaining two guardians question will be skipped. These questions will be asked to those who are under the age of 15 years and whose parents are not part of the household or are no longer alive. In the next line, the question is, what is the name of Sultana Bibi's husband from the given list? Husband name is Aslam Khan, so we will select code 1 Aslam Khan. The next two questions are about parents. We will enter the code 88 for the father and 77 for the mother. And again, the next two questions will be skipped. I will move forward for the time being because the procedure is the same until Suvia Bibi. Let's look at the printed roster before we start entering data for guardians. These 6 family members live with their uncle Aslam Khan because their parents are no longer alive. Their age range is 1 year to 14 years. So we will enter guardian information for these kids. Because the maximum number we can enter in the sequence is 60, I am using guardian ID from 61 onwards. If the guardians are not household member, we can add them. In that case, the number will begin with 61 and is generated automatically based on the maximum available ID after 60. So let's begin by filling out the last part of the roster's information. The first question will be skipped and we will enter 88 not alive in the father and mother questions. The question is, what is the name of Noor's guardian from the given list? As a dynamic value set, we can see all of the household members who are 18 or older, as well as the add guardian option. If the guardian is already on the list, select the name. Otherwise, select add guardian. Qasim is not part of the household. We will select the option add guardian. The guardian ID will be displayed as 61 and the cursor will be moved to the next question, guardian name. Type Qasim as a guardian name and click next to proceed. The first question will be skipped again on the next line and we will enter 88 not alive in the father and mother questions. On the guardian question, the dynamic value set shows 61 as well in the guardian list. As you can see, Qasim is also Ma's guardian, so we will select Qasim's ID for the guardian and the next question guardian name will be skipped. Sultana Bibi is Salim's guardian. We will select Sultana Bibi's ID as guardian and skip the next question guardian name. Noreen is Sa's guardian and she is not part of the household. So we will select Add Guardian. The guardian ID will be 62. Enter Noreen in the guardian name and click Next to continue. As you can see, the 62 ID is also included in the dynamic value set at this point. Now let's see the syntax. Select question 7 for spouse information and then click on the logic icon. I am writing statements in the N on focus procedure. When moving forward, any pre-prog statements are executed before the onFocus statements. However, when moving backward, the pre-prog statements are not executed and only the onFocus statements are executed. I am using two blocks of code in this question, block 1 and block 2. Let's start with block 1. I am getting the current occurrence number in a dummy variable called index. Because we are currently at the first position, the value 1 will be stored in the index variable. Over here, I am determining whether the IP at a given position is empty or not. If IP is empty, the form will exit. The else if statement will be executed if this condition is false. Because this statement is false in our case, the else if statement will be executed. In the else if statement, we check in a given position equals to 11 or not. Question 4 is a relationship question. Question 4, if it does, we do not for asking any information about the spouse, parents or guardians, and the cursor will move to the next line. If the code in question 4 is other than 11, the syntax will be executed in this case under the else statement. Because this statement is false in our case, the else statement will be executed. In the first line, the household head name is obtained from the first position in the dummy variable strname1. In the second line, the name in the dummy variable strname2 is obtained from the given position. We are currently in first place, which is why we have the same name in both variables. Let's take a look at the code for the second block now. I am using two arrays in this block, one for strings and one for numbers. Both arrays have a size of 50. These arrays are defined in the global procedure section. The value in the dummy variable is 1 because the cursor is currently positioned at number 1. In the if condition, we are looking question 3 at position 1 is 1 and in question 6 at position 1 is equal to 2. If this condition is true, run these lines of codes. If the condition is false, move to the else if statement. In our case, the if statement is true, so on the next line we are using the count function. Count total number of household members based on question 3 is equal to 2 and question 5 greater than is equal to 13 and question 6 is equal to 2. The value will be 2 in count PID because we have 2 members in this criteria. We are using the do loop from lines 336 to 344 to display these two names in the dynamic value set. At the starting, the loop I value is set 0. This loop will continue until the loop's value equal to count PID, which is 2. The seek function returns the occurrence number of the first item in a multiply occurring item that satisfies a certain condition. The condition is question 3 gender should be 2, question 5 age greater than is equal to 13 and question 6 marital status should be 2. We are using @ to search for the nth occurrence of the condition. In our case, the nth occurrence is 1 because the initial value in loop I is set to 0 when the loop begins for the first time. In loop I am adding 1 to find the first household member who meets the given condition. Please keep in mind that this addition does not imply that the loop I has now become 1. If we go through the printed roster, the first occurrence is false because the gender is male in question 3. But the second occurrence is true because is gender 2, age is greater than 13, and marital status is 2. So the value will be set to in seek PID. If seek PID is greater than 0, then the second IP and name will be saved at the 0th position in the HH name ID and HH name arrays, and the loop will continue. The value of loop I has now been increased by 1. The seek function will run again, but at this time the seek function finds the second household number who meets the given condition. At this time, the value will be set to 8 in the seek PID variable. If the seek PID greater than 0, then the information on the 8th position will be saved at the first position in the HH name ID and HH name arrays. The loop will continue again by increasing 1. The loop I value is now 2. When the condition is met, the loop will exit because loop I and count PID are both equal to 2, and execution moves to the first statement following the do keyword. When the loop exits, the loop I value is set to end of the loop, add code 77 in HH name ID array, and add an option spouse is not part of the household in the HH name array. The question is where this information is being saved in array. If you remember, the last value of the loop I was 2. So we are going to save this information in the second position in the array. To terminate the array, set the value not APPL on the third position in HH name ID. In the last, use the set value set function, then give the item name question 7, and after that give the array's name. In the else if statement, we are looking for a spouse name for the female household members. The procedure is the same, but in the count and seek function, we are looking male instead of female. Please see the first part of the video to see the outcome. Now proceed to question 8 and 9 for parents information. The procedure is almost the same except for the count and the seek function. Over here, I am using the count and seek function with the when statement instead of if statement. This is how we will read it, regardless of which line you are currently on. If question 4 in range 1 or 5, then count where the Q3 is equal to 1 and question 4 is equal to 4. Else if question 4 is equal to 2, then count question 3 is equal to 1 and question 4 is equal to 10, and so on. At the end, any one of these conditions will be valid. After the when statement, we will run the loop. Over here, we will read like this. If question 3 in range 1 or 2 and question 4 in range 1 or 5, then seek the information based on this condition. Else if question 3 in range 1 or 2 and question 4 is equal to 2, then seek the information based on this condition, and so on. At the end, any one of these conditions will be valid. This is the same syntax as in question 7 for spouse information. The question 8 and 9 syntax are the same except for the gender. For the count and seek function, we are looking for the gender that is female. In question 3, please see the first part of the video to see the outcome. Now proceed to question 10 and 11 for guardians information. This question will be asked about family members who are under the age of 15, and the answer to the question 8 and 9 is 77 or 88. Code 77 means father or mother is not part of the household. Code 88 means father or mother is not alive. The ask if statement can only be used in a pre-proc. In the pre-proc, if this statement becomes true, the cursor moves forward and the code following the onFocus statement is executed. At this line, I am getting the max number from question 10, where the question 11 is empty. The value will default in the dummy variable getMaxGuardianPid, because the max function finds the value in the first 8 occurrences. For example, if you are on the 5th occurrence, the max function finds the max value in the first occurrences. The occurrence number 9 will not include in this max function whether the Q9 on occurrence number 9 is empty or not. This line of code gives us the total number of people who are 18 years old or older, and based on this information, this loop will be executed, and the list of the household member will be saved in the arrays. At this time, the list of the household member will not be displayed as dynamic value set. These are the same lines of code that we discussed in question 7. After this, get the total count in the dummy variable guardianPid based on this condition. Again, at this stage, the value will default in the dummy variable guardianPid, because the count function counts the value in the first 8 occurrences. The occurrence number 9 will not include in this count function whether the Q9 on occurrence number 9 is empty or not. Why we are using a value greater than 60 in this line? Because we can do a total entry of 60 in each roster, so that is why I am using greater than 60. At this line, we are getting the minimum number in the dummy variable guardianPid min. The value in the dummy variable will default at occurrence number 9. In this situation, these lines of code will be skipped. The cursor will move forward and if statement will be evaluated. In our case, this condition is false because the visual value is empty in question 10. So the syntax will run under the else statement and you get the dynamic value set. You want to add a guardian from outside the list? Select Add Guardian. The guardian ID will be changed from 99 to 61 and the cursor will move on question 11. In question 10, the if statement following the first else statement will be true in the post-proc and the value will be changed from 99 to 61. Let's see another example if we are on the occurrence number 10. At this line, I am getting the max number from question 10 where the question 11 is not empty. The value will be stored 61 in the dummy variable getMaxGuardianPid, because the max function finds the value in the first 9 occurrences is 61, where the question 11 is not empty. This line of code gives us the total number of people who are 18 years old or older, and based on this information, this loop will be executed, and the list of the household member will be saved in the arrays. Again, at this time, The list of the household member will not be displayed as dynamic value sets. After this, get the total count in the dummy variable guardian PID based on this condition. At this stage, the count will be 1 in the dummy variable guardian PID. Because the count function counts the value in the first 9 occurrences where the question 10 greater than 60 and question 11 are not equal to empty. In the count function, the occurrence number 10 will not include. At this line, we are getting the minimum number in the dummy variable guardian PID min. The value in the dummy variable will be 61 at occurrence number 10 because the minimum value where the question 11 is not empty is 61 on occurrence number 9. The cursor will move forward and if statement will be evaluated. Now at this time the if statement is true, so we will set the number of loop in the next line. Because the values from both dummy variables were added, the guardian PID now has a value of 8. Why do we need it? If we see the previous loop, we have only the household members from the existing roster where age 18 years old or older. Now we want to add guardians name those who are not part of the roster. These guardians may also serve as guardian for any other member living in the household. After that, even if guardian PID is 8, the loop will run only once to save the guardian name and ID. In the previous loop, the loop was run 7 times to save the name and ID from the existing roster in array. The if statement will be evaluated after the loop has been completed. Over here, the condition will be run under the else statement, and dynamic value set will be displayed with one guardian name. This statement will be executed when we restart the application or when the number in question 10 is 61 and question 11 is not empty. At the end, in postproc, if we are adding another new guardian, then the else if statement will be true under the else statement. Question 11 will only ask if we choose the option add guardian, otherwise it will be skipped. For more details, please see CS Pro Help on array statement, when statement, do statement, and set value set function. Keep on learning and goodbye.